difficult location, but he pulls it through. He hits it. It puts him. There's a penalty flag. Hold on. Penalty flag. I see it on the far side.
On the offense.
So let's back it up and let him go again. Actually, in looking as you were from behind the goalpost at that angle, this should even prove to be a little bit easier. When you're that close and you're on the right hash, that can be very, very difficult for Bynum. This should not prove to be quite as difficult. You will see from the angle from behind that goalpost as Bynum gets ready now for a 30-yarder. Having said that, he will probably whiff on this one.
No, he's got a tattoo on his arm. He's a tough guy. He's not going to whiff.
Barbed wire and all, my friends. Here it comes. Got it. So the 30-yard field goal for Bynum, and it puts them back at a respectable distance. They're within 13. Timeout. Man can afford a ticket. Doesn't have to be standing on the sidelines. That's Roger Clemens. I know you recognize it. And who's that man behind those shades there?
That's a movie star. That's why he's wearing the shades.
Is that Matthew McConaughey over there? He's got one of them $50,000 luxury boxes on the other side, they tell me. So here's the kickoff now for the Aggies, and a good one it is off the foot of Leckler. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. So after the touchback. Coming up next, of course, we'll send you up to Lincoln, Nebraska. It'll be the Cornhuskers hosting the Buffaloes of Colorado. Colorado going to go over to Hawaii. We may get them in the Aloha Bowl. We'll see how that rotation goes. I understand that Colorado is one of the three teams going over right now. There'll be a fourth.
And, you know, Brent, as soon as this game's over, I get the opportunity and the pleasure to interview Ricky Williams. And at halftime of the Colorado-Nebraska game, we'll show you that interview and hear from Ricky on his unbelievable day.
Might be a touch exhausted.
No, I'll make it.
Fumble by Ricky. Loose Aggies. They've got it. The second fumble by Ricky Williams. It is marked down at the 16-yard line. I was just going to say on his 41st carry, they might be thinking about a fresh set of hands in the backfield.
Well, Ronald Flemings, the defensive end, is going to get this ball. Pitch was a little bit high. There's the hit in the back. There's Flemings with the recovery. Ball came in just a little bit hot from the quarterback. Warwick Holdman with the big hit forced the fumble.
But can the Aggies score a touchdown? One in the first half was to the tight end Spiller. Trailing it by 13. Dante Hall spins. And the Texas defense stops him. Stone cold stop. That's the Longhorn defensive line, and linebackers like Dusty Renfro here today. They have just been magnificent against the run all game long. The Aggies averaging only 3.4 yards a play. They've rushed 20 times, and they have been held to minus 10 yards throughout the afternoon.
And this is an offense that has averaged 170 yards rushing per game. Great job by the Longhorn defense.
Timeout with 7:44 to go. At the conclusion of the game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. Chevrolet makes a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund. Second down and 10, Aggies. McCown got his tight end. Touchdown, Aggies! Derek Spiller, his second touchdown of the game. 17 yards. And each time the Aggies have scored a touchdown, it has been after a Ricky Williams fumble.
Now here's Spiller, the tight end. He's going to come down and across the middle. And this is a wonderful touch throw by Randy McCown. After the play fake, he sees that DeAndre Lewis is beat, and he has his back to the quarterback. That allows McCown to throw the ball anywhere he wanted.
Russell Bynum pounds through the extra point. And uneasy sits the lead now as R.C. Slocum says, Dad, are you ready? 23-17 as the result of this effort by tight end Derek Spiller, a senior. Gets up above the linebacker, juggles the ball, and hangs on. Touchdown, Aggies. Great set of hands by the young man that time, tumbling into the end zone. And Spiller with 4 catches for 51 yards, and both Aggie touchdowns. And it was all set up with Ricky Williams giving back 4 yards from his 250. He's officially now sitting on 246 with 41 carries, but 2 costly fumbles. And now Leckler will attempt to bury the horns again. High kickoff. Nunez will take a knee. It'll come out on the 20. We'll remind you that tomorrow on ABC, the Skins game. Greg Norman, nice to see him back. Fred Couples, Marco Mira, and the defending champion Tom Lehman. 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Skins tomorrow. Here in Austin, Texas, the heat is on the Longhorns. That win is back.
And Brent, RC's team, 11th best in the country as far as turnover ratio is concerned, with a +12. They've got 3 today to 0 for the Longhorns. That's why they're 10-1.
Ricky Williams, 42nd carry. Hangs on tight to the 24-yard line. Should put him back at that 250 mark with Holman making the stop for the Aggies.
And you hate to beat up on kickers, but, you know, why not? If Chris Stockton hits those 2 field goals, we're not even have any suspense at all in this stadium. But right now, a precarious 6-point lead for the Longhorns.
2nd down and 6. Here's Williams for a yard or 2, and that's about it with his 43rd carry. Dat Win yanking the ball away, but the officials say that it was blown dead.
You talked about him being relentless, Brent. You know, that's the perfect description, because he's as relentless at this point of the game, 6 minutes to go in the ball game, as he is at the beginning. And this is a phenomenal number. 50 tackles. Wow.
So the 500 mark is reached, and it is 3rd down and 4. As the Major pulls it back, sacked. And the Aggies are in business. Royland Bradley, the 3rd sack of the game. One thing you can say, ladies and gentlemen, about the Aggies, and we saw it in the Big 12 championship when they were blown out in the first half. They did rally in the second half. Aggies don't quit.
And especially when they play the Longhorns.
Only the 2nd punt of the game for Ryan Long. Fielded at the 41-yard line. Breaks free and caught from behind at the 25. Jason Webster, the best cover corner, with a 34-yard return, puts the Aggies in business.
Well, it was a miserable punt by Ryan Long. Very low, very short. And he gets behind his picket line on the sidelines and makes some nice moves. We talk about momentum. Gig 'em.
Well, there's Jason Webster's first punt return, and you've got to give the coaches at Texas A&M a lot of credit for putting him back there. Dante Hall is behind Toombs. 4 down linemen are ready now for the Horns, and McCown in trouble as Humphrey and friends surround him. The 6th sack of the game for the Longhorns. The difference, the defensive line clinging to a 6-point lead. RC and his coaches have to think about whether or not this is 4-down territory or they will go for another field goal. Time is starting to run down. They're down by 6 points. And the way he acts, the decision has already been made by the coaching staff. 2nd down and 11 after the loss coming up. Aaron Oliver out to the left. Taylor is the slot receiver. McCown throws to Oliver at the 20-yard line, short of the first down by about 6 yards, with Joe Walker, number 17, making the stop for the Horns.
And RC's also got to be thinking about the fact he only has 2 timeouts remaining. So as far as going forward on 4th down, you can bet he's got to.
Discussing it right now. 3rd down and 6. Hodge and Bumgardner are the wideouts. Bumgardner to the left. Shotgun for McCown. The Horns blitz Walker. Throws one-on-one. Bumgardner's out of bounds. They're going to give it to him. He makes the catch inside the 5-yard line. Kept the foot in bounds, or he was forced out by the DB. It's legal in the college game as Jammer was there 16 yards.
Here he is on the outside. Jammer comes over from his weak safety position. McCown sees Jammer has his back to the quarterback now.
What a great catch.
Great catch and a great call by the officials, making sure that he got that left heel inbounds. And there it is, the heel and the ball inside the 5.
Matt Bumgardner. 1st down and goal. Dante Hall picks his way for a yard or 2. So Matt Bumgardner makes his first catch a great one. Sean Rogers in the middle of the defensive line. Texas comes with the goal line now.
Texas came with a corner blitz. That's why Jammer was out on Bumgardner. Watch the blitz here. Watch the good block here. That gives McCown the time to throw the ball.
Toombs is set in front of Hall. McCown keeps it, and he is short of the end zone. This will be 3rd down and goal. The ball is spotted very close to the 1-yard line.
And Brent, I think when Randy McCown reviews the tapes of this game, you'll see that he was a little bit impatient on that play. If he pitches the ball back to Dante Hall, he walks into the end zone.
Sir Parker into the backfield. 3rd down and goal from the 1. McCown rolls. Gonna throw for it. Diving out of the bounds. Incomplete. It's 4th down and goal coming up. The back judge was there, and he ruled that Campbell was out of the back of the end zone.
Dan Campbell dropped a touchdown pass the last game out for A&M. Let's check this one out in the back of the end zone.
Apparently he was juggling the ball as he came past that cameraman.
Man, that was close.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Battle of Texas comes down to a 4th and goal. The Aggies will call a timeout. Watch again from this view.
Never quite had it, did he?
No, otherwise he would have been inbound. We'll take a break. Timeout. For bragging rights. Comes down to 4th and goal for the Aggies. Down by 6 points. Parker is the tailback. Toombs in front of him. Simpson is also there. Strength of the formation to the left. They run the option the other way. McCown doubles back toward the end zone. And McCown has got it. McCown for the touchdown. Ties it. And the Aggies will go for 1 in the lead.
Got to give Steve Craigthorpe a lot of credit for calling this play. On the 1-yard line, Randy McCown gets in for the 2nd time this season, and he lowered his head and just flew into the end zone.
Now Russell Bynum for the lead. And the Aggies have come back to take a 24-23 lead. scoring 16 unanswered points.
Well, let's check out the option. It's just a speed option all the way. No faking to the fullback. Look at the hole open up there as DeAndre Lewis overruns the quarterback. And McCown gets a great job by his offensive line. Spiller pushing Humphrey to the outside. Everybody thinking McCown was going to pitch it back to Hall so Hall could run for the corner. But the hole is just too big. Great vision. Almost slips. Lowers his head and it's lights out.
And remember, it goes back to a decision by the A&M coaches to have Jason Webster return a punt. And down the field they came. Now Leckler with that powerful leg. Jeremy Jones and Ryan Nunez are deep, but Leckler has been pounding the ball into the end zone. This one is returnable. It'll be Nunez from the 4-yard line. Far side left, and Nunez is down at the 24-yard line. And time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report will be coming up. And, of course, a reminder after this, it's Colorado, Nebraska. The Longhorns need a field goal. Keep that in perspective. They're down a point. A field goal would give them a lead. They have 2:12 to go in the game, and they have all 3 of their timeouts. But they also have a very tired Ricky Williams. He has carried the ball here today 43 times for 252 yards. Major Applewhite with 2 dangerous receivers off to the right. They send Ricky in motion to the short side. One-on-one against the corner there. Applewhite looks, comes sideline, complete to the 28-yard line with Rich Cody defending the receiver that time. Keep an eye on the time, and again, all 3 of the timeouts remaining here.
And you know, on the sideline, Chris Stockton would just love to be able to redeem himself for missing 2 field goals in the 3rd quarter.
Offset Brown to the right. Slot to the right. Applewhite makes the call at the line. Rolls underneath Cavill, and Cavill is stood up at the 31-yard line by Jason Webster, who has been no small-time hero so far in this football game. So we have a timeout that has been used here by the Horns, and we can tell you who our Chevrolet most valuable players of this game are. Derek Spiller with 2 touchdown catches for the Aggies, and Ricky Williams, 43 carries for 252 yards and an all-time rushing record. A Chevrolet donation will be made to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. This, of course, has been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. As the young man who made the 2 touchdown catches, 20 yards in the first half, 17 yards here in the 4th quarter. And for the Horns, it is 3rd and 2.
And they've got to pick up this first down now, and they got to be thinking that they need about 35 yards or so to get Stockton in range. Stockton's career long is 53 yards. We saw him make one from 49, but that was with the wind at his back. He'll be kicking into the wind.
The backs are split on this 3rd and 2. This has not been Williams' preferred running formation so far today, unless they're going to toss. They're going to throw from it. Middle, covered by Derek Lewis, got the first down. That is the first reception for the Longhorn tight end, the senior Derek Lewis, the big hero in that upset of Nebraska. And he stops the clock with the first down, but they want even more time. And so Applewhite is I'm very confused as to why they would call a timeout with the clock stopping on a first down, unless it is just the sign of a redshirt freshman at quarterback.
I think that's a big part of it, Brett. Major does not have a lot of experience running the hurry-up offense. And the big thing here is that you can't afford any mistakes. You got to be absolutely perfect at this point of the game. And for a young quarterback, patience is important now. He's got to realize he's going to get more pass protection, more time to throw than he normally does. For some reason, defensive lines don't rush as hard. The Aggies will be in some type of umbrella defense, a prevent defense. So Major will have time to find McGarity, to find Cavill, or maybe even try his tight end over the middle.
Just wants one chance to redeem himself, having missed that 28-yarder. 122. One timeout is all that's left for the Horns. 4 wide receivers. Applewhite needs to get out of bounds, short of the first down, reached for it, gained 9 yards, and they've got to hurry. The clock runs. Coming down toward the 1 minute mark.
Going right into the shotgun formation.
Second down and 2 for the Horns. Deflected, incomplete. It is third down and 2.
Looked like Royland Bradley got his hand and knocked that one down. Major's only 6'1", and he doesn't really come over the top with a high delivery. It's kind of a 3/4 arm deal.
So important to keep in mind that in the college game, the clock stops on a first down.
That's huge, especially when you only have one timeout remaining.
So they need a couple of yards. Third down and 2, and they're going to go from the shotgun. And the catch is made for a first down at the 49-yard line by Brian White. So Derek Lewis and Brian White finally contribute as receivers, and it came at the right time with the clock stopping, 47 seconds. And the Horns in their hurry-up now.
And I like that call, Brett. Moving the pocket, giving him some extra time to find a receiver against a 3-man rush for the Aggies.
Clock started again, and a Major from the pocket fires complete and out of bounds. Goes the wide man, Wayne McGarity.
Now they're getting real close to Stockton's range. Another 15 yards or so would be really good for Chris Stockton.
Remember, they have the timeout left to get the field goal unit all squared away. Second down and 3. 36 seconds left on the clock. Spreading the field again. Leaving Ricky behind, right alongside the quarterback. And the Major steps up, got Ricky in the middle, goes further, got by Cavill. Free at the 25, inside the 20. The Horns are in business. The play quickly in from the sideline. Clock stopping on that first down. Again, very huge in the college game.
That 3-man pass rush for A&M has just killed them on this drive.
Applewhite, shotgun, near side, got it out of bounds. White stops the clock inside the 15-yard line with 17 seconds left on the clock. And Major Applewhite, the redshirt freshman, calmly leading the Longhorns right down the field against the Aggies. The only thing you could question about the young man so far is using that one timeout. And here is Stockton. He's kicked 3 field goals and missed his last 2, getting ready. 17 seconds left. Second down and 4. McGarity to the right. Here's Ricky. Ricky stretches left. Ricky still running left. Ricky goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. His 44th carry of the game stops the clock with 9 seconds left. And Chris Stockton trots onto the field as Ricky Williams trots off. 44 carries, 259 yards. And now it is in the hands of Chris Stockton. White looks like he'll put it down right about the 14-yard line. And the Aggies try to freeze him down, apply just a little bit of ice here.
Now, you know, the two misses for Stockton. He's missed wide to the right. They've got the hash mark on the left side now, so that ought to correct the fact that he's missed to the right side. What a job by Major Applewhite on that drive, Brent. He hit 7 out of 8 for 55 yards to get number 13 well within his range.
Well, the offensive coordinator, Greg Davis, had schooled the young man all season long. And the Major is going to be a good one here in Austin for years to come.
He might make it all the way to General before he's done.
White. Jay Humphrey now to snap the ball. And White, the holder, with Stockton. He's 3 for 5 on the day. This will be a 24-yarder. This for a whole season of bragging one way or the other. And Stockton nails it. R.C. Slocum and the Aggies with a great rally here in the fourth quarter. But Ricky Williams and the Horns came down the field behind Major Applewhite. And Chris Stockton makes his 4th field goal of the game. Five seconds left. Another classic between Texas and Texas A&M. Heartbreak for those youngsters.
He just punched it through. He knew he didn't have to really rip it. Redemption is a made field goal that wins the ball game.
And now Sir Parker says, let's shake and bake and lateral and whatever we got to do. And RC and the Aggies, 8 days from now, will play Kansas State for the Big 12 championship. So even though they have in all likelihood been knocked out of Tempe, a win next Saturday and they will go to New Orleans or Miami and play in the Nokia Sugar Bowl or the FedEx Orange Bowl. That's what can happen when you go to the conference championship. Kansas State has ideas of their own, and I'm sure that Coach Snyder and the Wildcats will be tough a week from Saturday in St. Louis. Along the ground to bring the clock down, put it in the hands of the short man, and with the knee down, the clock stops with 4 seconds to go. And college football's all-time rusher, Ricky Williams, watching as Caden McCown goes over the final play here with the prevent defense being set. And folks, when I say prevent, I mean it.
Well, this is the best time for prevent defense. I don't like it any other time, but if there's only 4 seconds to go and you need 70, back them all up.
Randy McCown. No relation to Cade McNown, I might add.
Almost there.
And Randy back in the shotgun, and here we go. Close to being incomplete, and the Horns win it. The Horns hook their arch rival. Mack Brown turns the fortunes of the Horns around in his first year. They go unbeaten in Austin. And a stirring last-minute comeback. But the man of the day, the season, and the last couple of years is Ricky Williams. 44 carries today for 259 yards. And just to make sure he made it so dramatic, his 2 fumbles helped the Aggies get back in it. The largest crowd in history. It was Chris Stockton, who had hit field goals earlier. Ricky Williams on the record breaker. 60 yards in the first half for the touchdown. And the record is Ricky's. With Chris Stockton kicking the winning field goal. And a stirring Texas victory. 26-24. The Horns over the Aggies. So long, everybody. Let's send you down to New York.
Blackledge. 10-7, Nebraska with the lead over Colorado, but regardless of the outcomes of any games today, this day belongs to Ricky Williams. It really says something about the guy when you know even his opponents wanted him to get the record. Texas A&M says, we want him to win the game, but we want Ricky Williams to get his record. And the cheers come out as he takes the field, and then he takes off on this one to break the record.
Yeah, and this is vintage Ricky Williams. He busts the tackle, shows you his power and strength, and then the speed to outrun the secondary and gets it in the end zone. A huge run and a huge day for Ricky Williams.
Well, Tony Dorsett was on hand, and he even wanted Ricky Williams to get the record. Texas A&M, though, what a comeback in the fourth quarter. Randy McCown calls his own number and puts it in and puts A&M on top. But you really have to give a lot of credit to the young Texas quarterback.
Major Applewhite took a huge step in his development. 7 of 8 on the game-winning drive for 55 yards. Also ran one time for 8 yards, setting up the game-winning field goal by Chris Stockton. And this is what did it for the Texas Longhorns.
And again, Ricky Williams, one of the reasons you love him, he says, we won the game, so it was worthwhile. Handing the ball to 1957 Heisman Award winner John David Crow, 26-24, and Mac Brown could not have been happier that his big man got the job done today.
It was time for Ricky to turn it on and finish this thing in style, and he finished it in style. He's the greatest football player I've seen, tremendous football player, and I hope the Heisman voters saw all this today. Congratulations.
That's the feeling amongst everyone. And moments ago, ABC's Dan Fouts had a chance to sit down and talk with Ricky Williams.
Ricky, 6,279 yards, the all-time record. What's the most significant thing about the record for you?
That we won the game, because I mean it got kind of close at the end, and the fact the team came back and won the game just made it all the more special.
But what's the most important thing about the record then?
That I don't know, that especially this year, I had a long way to go, and I think the most important thing was that I ran hard and helped the team win those ball games. If we had a losing record, it really wouldn't mean that much to me.
It's nice to have Earl Campbell and Tony Dorsett and Eric Dickerson there.
It's neat to see those kind of guys on your sideline.
How do you rank with them now?
Well, I saw all them play in NFL, so it's hard for me to compare, me in college to them in the NFL. So we'll see in about 10 years.
Can you remember the record-breaking run?
Yeah. I looked up on the scoreboard. I needed 11 yards to go. I ran an ISO to the left, and there's a nice hole, and then I broke a tackle, and I just saw a lot of open field.
And then you got down the field, and you saw the goal line then.
Yeah, that was nice.
And Wayne gave you a nice block?
Wayne gave me a nice block. I cut back, and I made it into the end zone.
Well, you're now the all-time leading rusher in NCAA history. Are you also the 1998 Heisman winner?
We'll see on December 12th.
Is there any doubt in your mind?
I'm not going to answer that. I don't know. I'm not a cocky person, so I'm not going to say it's all mine. But I think I put a good word in for myself today on the field.
Well, you have 12 NCAA records. Mm-hmm. Which one is most important?
The all-purpose one that I broke today. I didn't think I had a shot at it. I needed 260-something yards today, and I caught a couple passes and ran for almost 260, so I felt good.
Ricky got all these records, and as you know, records come and go.
Right.
But legacies last forever.
Right.
What would you like yours to say?
Just that I came to the University of Texas, and I was a good person as well as a good athlete, and I want people to, to name libraries after me and schools after me because I was a good person, not a good athlete.
And the next
5 more records for Ricky Williams today, now 17, none more important, though, than the one at the top as he passes Tony Dorsett.
Well, John, you can pull out so many great numbers about Ricky Williams. And 2 of them that I got to point out here, too. He had 44 carries today, but that's twice as many as he averaged over his career. He only averaged 21 carries a game. He was a fullback his first 2 years. The next number, 6.2 yards per carry he averaged every time he touched the ball. People forget how much yardage he gains after initial contact. He's a bruising runner as well as a guy who can run away from you.
And again, what happens on the field only tells part of the story with that guy. Reminder, next Saturday.
A quarterback club looks more like the admissions list at ER. Who will play and who will stay behind this weekend? We'll have the latest for you. Plus, Kentucky runs into stormy weather under the sunny skies of Puerto Rico. But first, a run for the record books in Texas.
A very big one. Texas tailback Ricky Williams needed just 63 yards to overtake Tony Dorsett as the all-time rushing king in college football, but he needed those yards against the nation's #2 rated defense, Texas A&M, which featured, among others, Lombardi and Butkus Award finalist Dat Wynn at linebacker. Both schools were going to bowls. However, a victory probably would mean a better postseason venue. The eyes of Texas upon Ricky Williams. And the first quarter, and no score, and Ricky cutting to the outside and picking up 14 yards, setting up a Texas field goal. 3-0 Texas, still in the first, and Ricky's big run.
11 yards shy of the record. Williams breaks a hole. Williams, hello record book. Ricky Williams runs to the Hall of Fame. Touchback. Ricky Williams, touchdown.
10-0 Texas. The crowd loves it, and in the crowd, Ricky's mom. Tony Dorsett there, too, to watch, and he's kind of pumped, I guess. Second half, 16-7 Texas, and Williams, 259 yards he would rush for in this game, 37 of them there. He also had 5 catches for 36 yards. 2 plays later, 3rd and 6, Major Applewhite to Kwame Cavill, 23-7 Texas. A&M down 23-17. Randy McCown calling his own number, 24-23 A&M. And then 17 seconds left in this one. 2nd and 4 on the 15, and Ricky Williams' 44th carry. He'll get out of bounds and set things up with 9 seconds to go for kicker Chris Stockton from 24 yards.
This for a whole season of bragging, one way or the other. And Stockton nails it.
The loss snapping the Aggies' 10-game win streak. The Texas defense held the Aggies to just 173 total yards. On the season, Williams, 2,124 yards, 5th best total ever. But for a college career, nobody has logged more yards than Ricky Williams. Move over Tony Dorsett.
Yeah, man, we just embrace each other. I'm just very happy. It's almost like it's my child, man, to be here to witness something like this. You know, this is history. The whole state of Texas has been looking for this to happen. And for us right here on UT, I mean, the people going crazy. I'm just glad I'm just being a small part of it, just to be here and witness it.
It was great. I mean, the line did a great job of blowing them off the line, and we were the best conditioned team in America, and we showed it. We just pounded them the whole game long.
How tired were you at the end? 44 carries, almost 260 yards. It was a long day.
I was exhausted at halftime. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it the whole game, but I came out and I felt fresh, and Coach did a good job of keeping us fresh all week.
Put the record in perspective now, Ricky, that it's all done and that you've unseated Tony Dorsett.
Well, I mean, it hasn't hit me yet, but I'm just glad we came out here and got a big win.
Anything that you regret from your college career? Is there anything you wish you had done that you haven't accomplished?
No, I think I've done everything.
Williams started the season 37th in career rushing. The running backs in 2nd through 5th place all won the Heisman Trophy, including Archie Griffin taking it twice. Ricky also set career records in touchdowns with 75 and points scored with 452, the old record 423 by Houston kicker Roman Anderson. Big battle between Arizona.
And there is your new Division I all-time rushing king, Ricky Williams, joining us live from Austin after we trust getting well rested. 49 touches yesterday. Ricky, one of the things that folks may not realize is how caught up in milestones and records a guy's teammates can sometimes be. We want to give you a chance to click off the big Longhorns up front. The offensive line did a great job for you this year.
Yeah, I think Ben, Jay, Big O, Roger, and Russ did a great job blocking for me yesterday.
And they were inspired all season long. I know you wouldn't have slept quite as well if your offense hadn't marched down the field and got the win yesterday. You might have been the hero, maybe the GOAT. You looked after the game like you're still shaken up by that.
Well, yeah, after the first fumble, they scored, but, you know, we still had control, and then I dropped that pitch, and they went down and scored, and then they scored again, and then I knew if we would have lost, it would have been on me, so, you know, I was hoping that we could go down the field and score that last field goal.
Ricky, you've been asked 1,000 times about the record. I'm sure you've dreamt about what kind of run you might be able to break the record on, but did you ever expect to go 60 yards on a run that, to me, really defined you as a running back?
No, the way the year is going, I thought, you know, it'd be an ISO play, and I'd maybe break a tackle and fall forward for 4 yards, but I got that 4 yards, broke a tackle, and happened to, you know, sprint for 60 yards. So, I mean, it's great to break the record on a play like that.
Ricky, you did something different this summer. You did not play pro baseball the entire summer. You came back to Austin to get in football shape. Do you think that helped you this year?
It helped me not get knocked out of games by teams like Nebraska, but
good. Yeah, I think shape.
No, I think I'm in great shape right now, and I carried the ball 44 times yesterday, and I felt good, and I'm healthy right now, so I think it made a big difference on this year.
You know, it was a big emotional moment. You had Tony Dorsett there, Earl Campbell watching, Eric Dickerson. So you had a couple of Heismans, a lot of yards, but also you had, what, 5 Cy Youngs there, because Roger Clemens, the Longhorn, was back there. And I heard after the game in the locker room, you were talking baseball with him. Please tell the Cleveland Browns you're not thinking about going back to baseball full time.
Well, I think pitchers like Roger are the reason why I'm not going to play baseball.
Ricky, you know, you look at your career, and there's been so much pressure put on you to break records, and you're going to come back. When you look back at your 4 years at Texas, what are you going to enjoy most? What kind of memories will you enjoy the most?
I think my first 2 years when I played fullback and got a chance to do a lot of different things, and I think those first 2 years really helped me, you know, develop into a great halfback.
Ricky, do you have any thoughts about the National Football League? Obviously, it's your next step about being the first pick, for instance, for the Browns.
People always ask me, you know, how I compare it to guys like Tony Dorsett and Eric Dickerson, and I watched all these guys play in NFL. I never saw them play in college, so it's hard for me to compare. But once I get a chance to go to the next level, I can have a better chance to compare myself to them.
Can I ask you to compare UCLA and Kansas State? You played both defenses. They were involved in a big debate for the BCS. Who gets your support?
Kansas State. They have a great defense, and Michael Bishop is an outstanding quarterback who leads that offense, and they're pretty much unstoppable.
I know you'd love another crack at that Wildcat defense. They held you to 43 yards, but and maybe I'll come. You can take it out in Arkansas, maybe in the Cotton Bowl. Thanks for joining us. We'll get used to this interview stuff. It's going to be happening a lot in the next couple of weeks. Ricky Williams, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Coming up on College Game Day.
To Hart, steps over the first down marker. Joe Walker was right on top of him. Rob Peters had 1 target, and that was number 82.
You know, and Peters comes out of this thing, and he just looks for his guy up top here the entire time. He's going to get the snap. 47 is Hawkins. He's going to stay in. So is Ricky Williams and block. It's literally a one-man pattern over there, and he just delivers the football right on the money. That play is very difficult to defend.
The bye week really helped Donnie Hart. Spike Dykes didn't like it when he saw the schedule in the summer, but when everybody got injured against Missouri, he knew he needed it. 1st and 10 from the 15. Peters keeps it, and oh boy, meet the turf. A hard turf. Humphrey got him low. Cedric Woodard got him high.
Boy, that's 6'3", 280 pounds of Cedric Woodard. And as we talked about, he and Quentin Jammer are